Imagine you are fast asleep in a tent out in the bush. You are completely out cold, oblivious to the world, and entirely defenseless. Biologically speaking, you are nothing more than slow, easy meat. Out there in the dark, apex predators like dingoes, crocodiles, big cats, and bears possess senses thousands of times sharper than yours, flawless night vision, and lethal hunting gear. Yet, documented predator attacks on people sleeping in tents or swags are incredibly rare. It is as if an invisible peace treaty exists between humans and the wild when the sun goes down. The reality behind this truce is not down to luck. It is the result of a deeply woven web of evolutionary history, biology, and animal psychology. In 2019, researchers at the University of California, Santa Cruz, UCSC, published a striking study. They played audio recordings of normal human conversation near mountain lions' pooms that were in the middle of feeding. The result? 100% of the big cats bolted immediately, often abandoning a fresh kill. For a predator, giving up hard-earned calories is an enormous survival cost, yet they did it because the sheer dread of being near humans outweighed their hunger. Biologists call this the landscape of fear. Humans have been the ultimate apex predators for roughly 2 million years. Our ancestors hunted mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and cave bears right out of existence. Over thousands of generations, any bold or curious predators that approached human camps were systematically culled. The survivors who passed on their genes to modern wildlife were the ones that possessed an inherited, deep-seated caution towards humans. Our presence has literally shaped their genetic code to trigger an automatic avoidance response. Predators do not just hunt blindly. They rely on specific prey templates triggered by familiar scents, like a dingo tracking a wallaby or a wolf trailing a deer. When a large predator approaches your campsite, its highly sensitive nose is bombarded by a chemical cocktail that makes absolutely no sense in the natural world. Synthetic fibers from your tent, sleeping bag, and hiking gear. Artificial scents from toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, and insect repellent. The odor of processed camp food, packed with synthetic seasonings. In the wild, an unidentifiable smell equals danger. A predator's instinct warns it. This is not standard prey. This is an anomaly. Rather than triggering an aggressive predatory strike, this bizarre sensory overload prompts caution and retreat. Hollywood movies have spent decades selling us the myth that top-tier predators are reckless, unstoppable killing machines. In truth, wild predators are exceptionally risk-averse. Without access to vets or antibiotics, a minor injury, a scratched eye, or a fractured paw can easily lead to a slow death by starvation. Because of this, every single hunting decision is a calculated gamble. A sleeping human fails this economic equation on multiple fronts. Unpredictability. A predator knows exactly how a kangaroo or a deer will try to escape, but it has no idea how a human will react. We might wake up screaming, throw burning logs, or deploy strange tools. Bipedal stature. Even when lying down, our overall silhouette reflects a bipedal, two-legged creature. In the animal kingdom, standing upright is the ultimate threat display. Think of a gorilla beating its chest or a grizzly bear rearing up. A species that naturally moves this way signals dominance, making predators think twice before engaging. You might feel completely vulnerable when you are unconscious, but human biology runs a surprisingly sophisticated early warning system. Compared to other primates, humans sleep in shorter, lighter cycles, with frequent bouts of REM sleep. This is known as the Sentinel function of sleep. While you rest, your brain acts as a subconscious filter. The rustle of wind or falling leaves, right arrow dollar, filtered out as background noise. A heavy footstep or a loud twig snapping near the tent right arrow dollar, instantly floods the system with adrenaline, snapping you from light sleep to full alertness in seconds. Furthermore, humans rarely camp completely alone. To a predator, a cluster of tents represents a pack. Attacking an isolated target within a pack risks waking the entire group, turning a simple hunt into a chaotic, highly dangerous group defense situation. Of course, attacks do happen, but they almost always follow a specific pattern. The natural ecosystem or the animal itself has been compromised. Physical disability. The notorious Champawat tiger, which killed over 400 people in India and Nepal during the early 1900s, only targeted humans after a hunter's bullet shattered its canine teeth. Unable to hunt its swift natural prey, it was driven by desperation to target the slowest, weakest alternative, humans. Habituation caused by humans. When tourists feed wild animals or leave food scraps unsecured around campsites, the natural boundary dissolves. Predators lose their evolutionary wariness and begin to associate human scent equals easy meal. Once this fear is gone, tragic accidents occur. That paper-thin nylon wall of your tent offers zero physical protection against a wild animal's claws. What actually keeps you safe is the evolutionary shadow of the human species. You carry the DNA of a super predator that conquered the globe and mastered fire before we even figured out agriculture. So next time you are lying out in the bush, listening to the eerie sounds of the night, embrace that little pulse of primal anxiety. It is the very survival instinct that kept your ancestors alive. But rest easy, the creature rustling outside knows better than to come in.